Hey guys, how are you? Happy Friday. I am so excited to paint with you today. I am doing a toadstool. Oh, my thing is having issues. Hopefully you can't hear the echo. Well, we're just gonna go with it. I can hear it. Hopefully you can't hear it. But anyway, we're going to be doing some toadstools tonight. I'm so excited. And as you can see in the banner across, doors are open for Watercolor Co. Watercolor Co. is my private online watercolor community, and it is a great place to be if you are really at any stage, but especially if you're newer to watercolor and you want somebody to be able to help you do projects in bite-sized steps, and so you can come up with some art that you love and have a hobby that lights you up. Guys, I need to go grab one thing. I'll be right back. 2 seconds, okay? 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I couldn't take the echo. When I have my phone connected, there's an echo, and then I thought I could handle it, but I couldn't. So anyway, hi guys, how are you? Let's start over again. So I am Amanda Schmidt, and I love teaching people who are new to watercolor how to end up with some art that they love by teaching them bite-sized steps so they have a hobby that lights them up. I love watercolor. It's my favorite thing in the world. A few years ago, if I would have told you, or if somebody would have told me that I'd be painting with watercolor, I'd go, probably not. I wouldn't have believed you, but here I am. I love it, and I know that if you try it out, you're probably going to love it too, especially if you don't feel overwhelmed. And I try my darndest to get people to not feel overwhelmed by breaking down projects in little bite-sized steps. So I'm going to show you. Hey, Ellen, good to see you. I'm going to show you guys today how I'm going to do my super simple little mushrooms. Now, I will say I'm going to provide a tracer for you. I'm going to post it in the description I'm going to post it in the description after I'm done with the live here for the replay. Okay, so I'm going to allow you to be able to get this tracer PDF, but it'll be available for the replay. Okay, so I'll make sure that when I'm done, I'll load it, and you guys can have the toadstool picture to paint for yourself, because I know drawing can be a little bit daunting, and we just want to get to the painting, right? That's the fun part. All right, so I have transferred my picture. It's probably a little bit tricky to see, but I have transferred my picture onto my watercolor paper. We're going to keep it pretty simple tonight. Okay, so those are my little toadstools. I love doing toadstools. I tend to have like a few projects that I will inevitably do every year at some point, and toadstools are definitely one of them. Hey, Dana, good to see you. Oh, good, Ellen. Ellen says her granddaughter and she are watching. Welcome, Ellen and granddaughter, and Dana, and everybody that's watching. So say hi if you're here, and let me know where you are in the world. I love finding out where people are. In my private online watercolor community, Watercolor Co., which you can see on the bottom. I have people from all over the place. It's so cool. And knowing that, if we didn't have, I know the social media can be kind of pain and kind of, just cause stress. But at the same time, it allows us to like truly connect with people that we never would have connected with. So it's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started painting. Like I said, I'm going to provide the tracer for this, for the replay. So I'll make sure you get this if you'd like to. The shapes really are pretty simple though, guys. It's really just a little kind of kidney shape and then a just a little stem. And then all the stem, they don't have to look the same. No biggie. All right. So I think I'm going to start with the top of my toadstool here. Now, you might notice in my little sketch drawing here, there are some little spots. I think of those toadstools that are like red and they have like these little white, like little spots that are on top there. We're going to have to preserve those white spots. So if you're newer to watercolor, you may not know that if you want something to be white, you have to keep it white. You use the white of the paper. So you have to be a little bit careful when you are painting with watercolor if you're trying to save some white space. That's one thing that's very, very different about watercolor. But it's kind of one of the things I really like about watercolor. So, you know, it's just one of those things. All right, so this is where we're going to start right here. Okay, I just wet my paper, or not wet my paper. I wet my brush. Okay, I'm using a round brush, not a huge one. This is like a size 8. All right, I'm going to put my brush in my clean water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to all over my mushroom top here, toadstool top here, I'm going to put water everywhere except in those little spots because those are the spots I'm going to keep. Okay, so let's do that. It might be a little bit hard to see because obviously the water is clear. I almost always, I'm pretty good about starting out with fresh water. So if you don't have your fresh water, clean water in your jar, whatever you use, I find it's best to start with a fresh jar of water. Some people, and it's probably a better idea, I just don't think to do it all that. Some people keep 2 jars of water. They keep one for strictly clean water, and the other one they keep for their dirty water. Pretty smart. I always think I do that, and then I don't. I just go, oh, I'm already painting. I guess I'm not going to worry about it. And then if my water gets gross and dirty, I just go change it. All right. So hopefully you guys can see I have wetted that top of the toadstool, and you can see it's kind of shiny. Okay. So you don't want so much water that it is like a big puddle and it's going to run everywhere. But you also want enough to where it does moisten the paper. Okay, so this is, since we're wetting the paper first, it is considered a wet on wet. I love using wet on wet techniques because I find that it makes a really nice soft look on the paper when it dries. Much more often than if you use wet on dry. Not that there's anything wrong with wet and dry. It's just that, especially for newer watercolor painters, it can be kind of hard to not get it to look streaky. Sometimes it can look very streaky. And I find that using a wet on wet technique really kind of helps with that. So let me know where you are in your watercolor journey. Have you started painting? And if you haven't, I would love to know. I love to know where kind of people where they fall on their like experience with watercolor. Some people are on the part of their journey where they're like, I just really like the look of it. I have never really painted with it. I get it. So I'm going around really carefully where those white spots are, guys. It can be kind of tricky. But with a pointy round brush like this, it makes the job quite a bit easier. I definitely wouldn't be using any other shape for kind of getting around little nooks and crannies like this. So yeah, let me know where you are in watercolor. Are you painting with watercolor already? Have you maybe painted with watercolor before and you're like, I just haven't done it in years and I'm interested in maybe starting again? Or maybe you're a rock star watercolor person and you've been doing it forever, which is amazing. Starting a hobby and sticking with it used to be a big thing, and not sticking with it is something I used to do all the time. I still dabble in other things, but I'd start knitting, and then I'd start crochet, and then I'd start embroidery, and then I'd start all kinds of stuff. But it wasn't until I started doing watercolor that I actually stuck with something. Let me know if that's you. Are you somebody that, or you're a chronic craft starter? I know how it goes. That was me not too long ago. All right, so we're going to leave that little toadstool. We're going to let that one dry. All right. I'm going to scoot this down so you guys can see a little bit better. All right. All right, I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to put in some little white spots. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to rinse off my brush. My water's still pretty clean, so I'm just going to pick some up. And I'm going to paint all the way around with water, not getting into those little toadstool spots. I'm avoiding those little toadstool spots. All right. So, oh, guys, by the way, before I get too far, if you want to paint with me on Sunday, then you should totally sign up for my fall watercolor workshop. Okay. It's think of it as kind of like a 1-day watercolor challenge. I'm going to teach you a fall polka dot floral pumpkin. So cute. I love it. Here, I'll show you in just a second. And it's only $5 to sign up. The link is in the description. I forgot my link yesterday. Sorry. So if you're watching yesterday and you're like, oh yeah, I was interested in that, it's there now. You should be able to sign up. And it is a great way, especially if you, I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, I have watercolor. I haven't done anything with it yet. Well, this is a great opportunity to paint with me and try out your paints. And I will walk you through our project, which is this, step by step, bite-sized steps. All right, so here, I'll remind you guys. It is only $5. And it'll take like, I don't know, a couple hours. It's at 4:00 on October 11th. And then when you sign up, I'll send you all the info of how to get there. We're going to be in a private Facebook group. So that's where I will be painting live with you, and you can ask questions and paint along with me. And what's cool about putting it in that kind of format is that I will leave it there, and then you can either go back to it, or if you maybe missed it somehow or another, or maybe you're not free on the 11th, but you want to paint with me, you'll have access to the replay of our polka dot floral pumpkin until the 17th. So that's pretty cool, because you might try it on the 11th and then go, oh, you know what, I want another whack at that, and then you'll have it. Okay, so I'm doing that wet on wet technique again. Okay, and like I said, this round brush makes it so much easier to get around those little white spots. And so if you're just joining me, and if you are new to watercolor, you might be wondering why I'm leaving those white spots. Well, those are spots I want to stay white, so I have to leave them white from the get-go, okay? So let's see. So yeah, that's something about watercolor that is very unique about it, is that you go from, you have to save your whites and then you go darker. When if you're doing acrylics or oils or something like that, you kind of use the opposite strategy where you can go from dark to light because you could add the lighter paint on top. Well, you can't do that with watercolor. So that's what makes it so unique, but that does make it a little bit challenging, but at the same time, it makes it such a cool medium. It's so much fun. Oh, hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so let's come back over here. I'm going to start painting my little mushroom stem here, toadstool stem. And I'm going to wet my paper. We'll just stick with the wet on wet technique. And like I said earlier, I love doing a wet on wet technique. It just kind of primes the paper and it gives your paint a boundary, because watercolor, obviously water is in the name, right? Its home is water. So I like to think about it in that way. Like if I put water on my paper, I'm giving it a home to go to, and it kind of gives it some boundaries. Otherwise, sometimes it can kind of get away from you. All right, I'm putting down some yellow, a little bit of a mustardy yellow color. You guys can do whatever colors you want. Believe me, I always tell my fellow painters, especially my painters in Watercolor Co., that the colors I use are just suggestions. They're all, I mean, some people love to just stick with what I'm doing, especially if they're just starting out. I get it. You don't want to, rock the boat. And some people want to use their own colors right off the bat. And I say, please do, if that's what you want to do, for sure. Mine is just a base model. That's what I always say. I love, I really, and I do miss painting in person. I love painting, doing watercolor workshops in person. Because, you guys get it. I don't have to tell you anything you don't already know. It's that interaction. And I love seeing the way their process. Because some people, like I said, are very, kind of, I guess, sort of type A, where they, want to follow each little step by step and really just follow the rules per se, that they see. And then some people are like, I'm going to try this out. And it's always a mix. It's always a mix in the crowd of the different kind of painters out there. And I love that. I love that so much. All right. So tell you what, guys, let's leave those little toadstools be. Okay. And when I'm going to show you how to do the little, it's kind of like a little wreath, like a little mini semi-wreath. There. Okay. And I'm not going to switch my brush. I haven't switched my brush at all. I tend to use just a small amount of brushes. I'll use maybe a flat brush once in a while, but I will say this round brush is usually about the size I use. And it's kind of my go-to brush. I try to keep it very simple. I know one thing that a lot of people, they hesitate starting with watercolor because the supplies are very, it can be very overwhelming picking out supplies. So I tell you what, that is one of my very favorite topics. I could talk about watercolor paint, watercolor paper, and all the things like all day long. But you know what? Let's do. I'm trying to decide what color I want to do my little wreath. I'm going to use And like I say, guys, use whatever colors you like. I'm going to use this. It's kind of a sap or like an olive green, I guess. And with this is kind of a fall themed toadstool. So you could definitely do brown if you wanted to. I still see, it's like one of those things, I still see green out there. So I like using green. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, I kind of put a little like crescent on each side, a little C shape on each side. I'm going to take the tippy tip of my brush and I'm going to start at the bottom here actually, and just put my little stem in there. And like I said, you can use whatever color you want. Okay, that's where a brown brush is so handy because you can do so much with it. And the next thing is one of my favorite things to do with my round brush. I'm going to show you guys how I love to do my leaves, how you can do leaves with a round brush. So let me scooch my camera back down again. Sorry. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm talking about. So what you're going to do is you're going to load up your brush in your little puddle of paint. So I do have some green paint on there. And I use the technique, whatever I use, I call it point, push, pull. So I'm going to point the tip of my brush to the paper. I'm going to push it down and I'm going to pull up. Okay, so there's my leaf. Now you can do it away from you, or you could do it where you pull it towards you. So you can put the, you can put the tip of the brush at the top of the leaf and pull down to the stem. You can do either way. Now, if you do away from the stem, you'll usually end up with like a little bit more of a point at the top of your leaf. And if you go towards the stem, the top of the leaf is going to be a little more round. So either way, you can mix it up. You can, I think today I'm going to go away. You can mix it up or you can keep it the same, but this will be kind of our little wreath. Point, push, pull. Point, push, pull. Yeah. It's definitely kind of like right now I'm looking out my window. There's a lot of green. It's not, the leaves haven't changed a whole lot. I have noticed more on my way home from work though. Definitely. So let me know if you are, oh, let me ask you this. Actually, this leads into my next thing I wanted to tell you guys. Are you more of a craft person that likes to do fall stuff, or are you more of a crafty, artsy person that likes to do holiday, winter, Christmas stuff? So let me know, because if you are, I have something very exciting to tell you. So, okay, I'm going to take my banner down for this. This is happening Sunday, October 11th. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you also about Watercolor Co. So if you're just popping on, Watercolor Co. is my online watercolor community. And it is where I have a lovely community of women painters. I love teaching in bite-sized steps. And so every month I provide a video tutorial of one of my favorite projects, and plus a lot of bonus stuff. And this month, or actually coming up for November, no, I take that back. I'm getting my bonuses mixed up. If you sign up for Watercolor Code this weekend, that's what I wanted to say, then you get a special bonus. Okay, so if you sign up this weekend, first of all, it's $19 a month. You get a, like I said, a monthly project from me, taught in little bite-sized steps. And plus, there's always bonuses. I throw in at least one other painting because I just can't help myself. I love coming up with stuff to share. And there's a video library full of tutorials. I'm adding videos to that library every month. And so those are there to help you build your watercolor skills. So I have our community, I kind of like have a 6-step path. So we started stage 1 and we moved to stage 5. Even no matter where you are in your skill level, I always say, take a peek at the videos on stage 1, because you never know what little nuggets of information you either may not have heard before, or maybe they're just told you in a different way. So there's a video library. There is also a lovely community of ladies. I say that in Watercolor Co, my goal is for you to add color and confidence and connection. So color comes from obviously painting, and confidence to paint, which also leaks into other parts of your life, I have to say. I definitely and I like I said earlier, if you would have told me this because of watercolor, I would have said okay. But it's true that I feel much more confident in lots of other areas of my life since starting watercolor. You wouldn't think that it translates, but it really does. I don't know if it's just starting something new and building skills in that aspect or what, but starting something new and then becoming confident in it is such a cool thing. It's really hard to start something new, I know. But if you do, and if it's watercolor, I want to be there to help you. So if you sign up for Watercolor Co this weekend, by Sunday at midnight, that's when the doors close. I don't have doors open all the time because I want to be able to focus on my community and not focus on getting people to sign up all the time. But if you sign up this weekend, you will get access to 5 videos of mine, tutorial videos of some of my favorite holiday, winter, Christmas designs. Okay, and these are going to be perfect for making your own holiday cards. So I'll send you, or you'll get access to 5 tutorial videos of my favorite holiday tutorial videos. Okay, so that is a special bonus. Now, if you signed up yesterday, you didn't know about that bonus, but you get that. So there you go. I am so excited to share that. I know a lot of us are kind of ready to, I know, and we just started fall, but it's like, I feel like you kind of have to get started early on, all your winter, holiday, Christmassy stuff, right? All right, so, oh, I guess you guys weren't able to see the rest of my wreath. Sorry. I got busy talking. All right. There we go. So those are our leaves. All right, so now let's go in and add a little bit more depth to our mushrooms, toadstools here. So I'm going to grab the same color red that I used earlier. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of shading around where the edge of my toadstool would be. So it's curved, it's kind of one of those curved objects. So it's going to be a little bit darker around the edge of my little object here. So I'm going to put some down. Okay. Okay, now you could leave that there, but it kind of has a harsh line. And what I want to do is smooth that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squish out my brush and then dab it off a little bit. And then where that line is, I'm going to smooth it out with my sort of damp brush. Okay, so now it has a little bit more of a shadow. Okay, so I can even go back in and dab in a little bit more of the red. I'm going to do it down here at the bottom as well. So I'm going to grab some of that red, same red. We're just building up a little bit of layers. And I am going to add a little bit of shading. I'm going to swish off my brush and dab it off and then blend in that line a little bit. All right. So I just want to give it a little bit of depth, roundness, and shade that a little bit. So I'm going to come up here and do the same thing over here on this side. Okay. All right, and it's kind of a harsh line. We don't want to leave that there. I'm going to swish off my brush and then blend that in. Oh dear. My husband's calling. Go away, Eddie. Sorry. Well, I can't reach my... There we go. Oh, they're good. I was like, oh no, I hope it didn't kick it off. All right, that happens when people call me in the middle of my lives. I think I forgot to tell them I was going live. All right, let's do our other toadstool. So I'm going to go around the edge here with more of my red. Okay, so as you can see, it kind of looks like a stripe. We don't want to keep that stripe there. I'm going to squish off my brush, dab it off, and then blend in my line a little bit. All right, let's do the same thing over here. Going to grab some more red paint. There we go. And now I'm going to swish it off and then blend it in. Sweet. All right. So now I love to put like a quote or words or something like that on a lot of my watercolor. So I will be adding this. All right, guys. So I am going to be letting this dry first before I do that. But like I said earlier, I'm going to provide this tracer to you for the replay. So keep an eyeball out for that. And with that, you'll have all of the little details that you can just paint in. You don't have to worry about drawing. And I'm also going to put that little quote down there. And I wish I could remember who said that. I'm usually good about writing down who said like quotes because I like to give attribute to whoever said it, but I can't remember who said that. So maybe you guys know. It says, to walk in nature is to witness 1,000 miracles. And I tell you what, I love painting with you guys tonight, but I got home tonight and I was like, oh, I really, really want to go for a walk. So I'm going to be sure to do that tomorrow. It is like the perfect time to be out in nature. So this little project is a great little kudos to our lovely time of year right now. So speaking of that lovely time of year, if you would like to paint our floral polka dot pumpkin, be sure to sign up. The description, the link is in the description, and you can paint this with me on October 11th. Okay, so October 11th at 4 o'clock Central Standard Time is the fall watercolor workshop for this polka dot floral pumpkin. All right, so if you are new to watercolor, I'm going to provide a tracer for this as well, and you won't have to worry about drawing anything, and I will walk you through little bite-sized steps. Oh, Elizabeth, what color is the underside of the mushrooms? So here's the deal. You could leave the underside of the mushrooms whatever color you like. You can leave them white. Once this dry, yeah, I was say it's a little bit wet, but I think it's dry enough. Let's go ahead and I like to use something a little bit darker. So I'm going to do kind of a burnt sienna. How about that? So underneath, we'll put burnt sienna. How about that? Yeah, I like that. It kind of, so that the top is kind of a Merlot reddish color. And I love using burnt sienna, which is the color I'm using right now. Because it's kind of an orangey brown. It's one of my favorite colors. Once you get started in watercolor, you're going to end up with like some colors that are just your go-to colors. And burnt sienna is definitely one of my favorites. I use it a lot in instead of just a regular brown, just because I think it's a little bit prettier than regular brown. There we go. And if you wanted to, with that burnt sienna too, we could go in and add a little bit of shading on our stem, if you like. There we go. Oh, I love my little toadstools. So cute. Awesome. All right. So guys, I'm going to leave that there. Like I said, on the replay, I will provide the tracer for you. So be sure to look out for that. Also be sure to look out for the sign up for the polka dot floral pumpkin workshop. Okay. So here's the deal. Tomorrow at you can sign up through Saturday. But then I have to cut off the sign-ups because we have to have time to get you into the group and get the tracer and all that good stuff. So tomorrow, Saturday, is the last day to sign up for the watercolor workshop. And then Sunday is the last day to sign up for Watercolor Co. So if you have any questions about Watercolor Co., just let me know. Okay. Like I said, if you maybe you're just popping in, it's my online watercolor community where I teach a monthly watercolor project, and you have access to a video tutorial library, plus all the other months that we've done before of projects, plus there's usually bonuses. And if you sign up for Watercolor Co. this weekend, you get special access to 5 of my holiday, Christmas, wintry designs that are perfect for doing your own Christmas cards, holiday cards, or making gifts. And they're super simple. I promise you're gonna love them. Okay. I love doing. Fall is one of my favorite times to be painting, but also I love doing holiday stuff. I mean, how cute is holiday stuff? You can't go wrong, right? So you'll have access to 5 of my special tutorial card designs for holiday, Christmas, winter. They're all going to be like that. They're not necessarily all Christmas, but they're Christmassy, holiday-ish, winterish. Okay, so there you go. I am so glad I got to hang out with you guys tonight. If you have any more questions, please let me know. Oh, thanks, Dana. Oh, yes, Elizabeth. She says pulls both together. I agree. That little darker underneath. I would, by the way, guys, if you're wondering what color to use underneath, use something a little bit darker because then it kind of mimics some shading. Okay. There you go. And then you can put whatever quote you want down here. I'm going to be using this one once it's dry. And oh, if you're wondering, I'm probably just going to be using a micron. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. One of my favorite things is a micron pen. Those are really great little pens to use for my lettering. Okay. And I might even throw in some little pen details somewhere else in my picture. Okay. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great Friday. And I will see you later, and hopefully see you on Sunday and or in Watercolor Co. All right. So check it out. I'll see you guys later.